So as a weeb who has watched a shit ton of anime this year, I've been interested in watching One Punch Man after finishing the second season like over a year ago. God damn, a new season already? I would've gotten my hopes high until I realized that JC Staff was going to animate the season, but hey, at least I managed to tolerate the second season. The first season was already known to have banger animation as Madhouse were the ones behind it. Would you also believe that the same exact studio at one point pumped this back in 2001? Pretty mediocre anime with an incredibly predictable plot, but at least the songs were pure bangers. Now I watched the third season myself, and I gotta say, let's see what other people have to say. Now look, I'm not going to join the bandwagon saying that One Punch Man Season 3 was fucking dogshit and it deserves to be thrown into the fires of hell. The ratings are incredibly low. So low to the point that the 6th episode is now crowned as the lowest rated anime episode on IMDb. I've watched it and kinda tolerated it because of the plot. No, I'm not talking about simping for Fubuki or Mizuki, the muscular lady, or any other non-existent person who's only a thing on literal paper. Okay, so why exactly do people hate One Punch Man now? Of course I'm talking about the third season, that's not even a question. Everyone knows that it's the dogshit animation the season has been getting so much hate for. It's getting more hate than Indians on social media. Then again, I'm not a huge fan of this season either, but the overhate is getting a bit crazy. It seems that rule number 1 for good anime is always good animation. Do you know why Demon Slayer got so popular? That's right, Ufotable's massively high levels of animation. The typical shonen plot aside, I personally liked it a lot after a friend of mine begged me to watch it. Now I'm still waiting for the non-cam version of the movie to come out because I'm too lazy to just go to the theaters and watch it. Also, I'm broke as fuck. So anyways, back to One Piece. Oh wait, not One Piece. I'm mixing things up. One Piece Man. That sounds like a cool fanfic. Apparently, the One Piece manga is finally coming to an end after years of Oda-sensei being forced to use it as a money-making machine by Shueisha. All before GTA 6, folks. Back to the point for real this time. The real reason why One Punch Man switched studios was because Madhouse is busy with a shit ton of projects. Pretty normal for a huge anime studio, especially that treats its employees like shit. But why JC Staff of all studios? As they've been behind several successful animes such as Saiki Kusuo, Kaicho wa Maid-sama, and some more, the producers thought the animation quality would be maintained if they trusted JC Staff. But as the second season came out in 2019, holy hell were they wrong! I mean, for season 2 they had to rush things so the animation quality was a little bit choppy. But then the pandemic happened and we're forced to wait 6 years for a third season. And lo and fucking behold...
What the dog doing?
So right off the bat, we can already see the first problem right here. In episode 2, I want to know what in the actual hell Garou is doing. It's like the animators didn't even bother and just dragged and dropped this dude like he was a prop. In fact, many clips of the show are just a single frame. No wonder it's nicknamed One Frame Man. There are so many scenes that just show how lazy the animation has become. Feels extremely soulless, and we waited 6 years to be fed this garbage? Now look, I can't blame the animators themselves since they did work really hard on the show. Now before you come at me and say, my ass worked harder. First of all, you don't know what being an animator is like, coming from someone who has never animated in his life, and second, it's more to do with how corrupt corporations really are to the point they prioritize profit over quality. But here's another reason. Even though we had to wait for 6 years, the anime was actually rushed into production. The third season had around 6 months to be animated, even though the whole project was greenlit in 2022. But even then, they only started production 2 years later. The first trailer came out on February 29, 2024, uploaded by Bandai Namco Filmworks onto YouTube. Yeah, a video game company has been interested in anime production for quite a long time. I mean, they're the ones who swallowed Sunrise who are behind some of my personal favorites. It's kinda hard to believe that the trailers happen to have better animation than the series proper. It's like seeing a good looking cake that you happen to think that it will be awesome but it tastes like absolute shit. But even then, the third season has always been massively controversial. Or maybe not, since it's quite evident that almost nobody really loves this pile of garbage. But we need to be careful not to consistently attack the producers behind it. Or rather, we should be attacking JC Staff instead. The backlash went so far that the director himself, Shinpei Nagai, deleted his Twitter account, which is a good thing either way since Twitter is dogshit, as he's getting tired of the constant hate and trolling he received. He even went and criticized trolls and other people for exploiting the struggles of the creators for profit, as well as constant rage baiting and taking his statements out of context. Since animating is way harder than you think, otherwise I would have been an Odd Ones Out clone by now rather than using Gintoki as my persona on YouTube, it's incredibly unwise to attack the staff for the company's incompetence. It kinda reminds me of Charlie Wright, who has been the epicenter of the whole Not My Roderick movement after he was cast as Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid's 4th movie adaptation and how it affected his career and mental health. I mean, I personally preferred Devin Bostic as Roderick too, but the producers needed to change the cast members as the original actors outgrew their roles. People even went as far as to send Charlie Wright death threats. Like, what the fuck? Memes are one thing, but this isn't even that deep. So anyways, while I personally did not enjoy the 3rd season of One Punch Man so much, the 8th episode was actually not very bad. The fighting scenes improved quite a lot compared to the last few episodes. You see, the animators did the best they could due to the limited sources the company had. Nagai at one point released a statement on why JC staff chose him as the director on a tweet in which he says that he was told to withhold any information about his appointment as the 3rd season's director, as he was relatively unknown at the time without standout achievements as an animator, therefore he might give out a bad impression. The team is giving it our all on site. I can't discuss details about the production, but I'm open to answering what I can within limits, he said. Amid all this, many fans have resorted to accuse Bandai Namco for the series' limited budget, which caused it to look like shit. And while I can somewhat agree with a big corporation not giving a fuck in general, it's still hardly enough evidence. There are also some interesting speculations about the whole season. Some fans even believe that the producers used AI for the episodes. I found a Reddit post showing that Mizuki's band-aid on her face randomly disappears out of thin air. Not sure if this is AI when it's literally called an animation error, but anyway, some fans did speculate the whole thing might have been generated by AI. Another example is that Mizuki at one point is shown to have 6 fingers. I mean, there are actually people with 6 fingers. Take a look at this dude for example. He has 6 fingers. Although it's not very common, there are plenty of people who actually have 6 fingers. In fact, this is quite a common mistake in animation. Speaking of AI, the season's animation was so bad that people actually resorted to AI to quote-unquote fix its animation. And while I can see that the animation wasn't so passable, there's no reason to outright insult the animators behind it by doing this. Support human animators by watching reanimations by actual creators instead. So yeah, One Frame Man hasn't been so great not because the animators were lazy, but because they weren't given enough resources or time. Episodes were also proven to be recently made, as a tweet showed that the editors forgot to cut off the editing assets which happened to expose the production date. Some frames of the 8th episode show that the episode was made on November 19, about 11 days before the episode came out. This proves that the episodes had to be rushed due to pressure from fans. But here's the question, did JC staff ruin One Punch Man? I'd say no. It's more to do with poor management and inconsistent schedules. I could say the same with 7 Deadly Sins, whose newer seasons were animated by Studio Dean, which although has been behind several great anime series in my opinion, saw a drop in animation quality and harsh criticism from fans. I haven't seen it so I can't really confirm, but if you're a 7 Deadly Sins fan and want to discuss how bad the newer seasons were, be my guest I guess. But fear not, Ufotable will be animating the next season. Oh. God damn it! Okay, so I'm not sure if this is actually true or not, but Bandai apparently decided to not let JC staff animate the next season anymore due to horrendous reception. Will OPM go back to Madhouse? Yeah, no, unfortunately not. This Reddit post right here shows that One Punch Man's next 2 seasons would be animated by these 2 studios right here. I don't see how that would be so bad aside from the fact that they're smaller and lesser known studios producing relatively obscure anime. Hell, Visual Flight made only 1 according to my anime list. X-Arm with shockingly low ratings. Kinda like when they came, they shot out the supposed banger that was stinky, and then went back to their lair never to be seen again. Holy hell, we're fucked then. Anyways, that's all for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys when I have the opportunity to do so. And as always, peace.